Hello, Budget Comics, back again. It's been years, probably at least 18 months, but I've been feeling that I want to get back into this, so I'm going to do a quick haul here. I have 10 books that I've just been setting aside, some different books wherever I got the itch to do this again. Um, I want to show off. So we're going to start with Captain Marvel #5. This is from the first series. This is even before he has the new outfit that we're more familiar with, where he's still just in his Kree soldier uniform outfit. He battles this thing called the Metazoid, and with all the symbiote speculation out there and retcons and backstories, he battles this creature from outer space that is covered in this black, sticky, living goo that transforms its host. Now, is this anything? I really don't know, but it definitely is something. You can get this. This is probably a VF copy, maybe a F copy. I got it for, I think, like $4. You can probably find a good copy for about $10. But it might be something worth getting considering the age of this, as the the Thor God of Thunder books with the God Butcher and all the other things seem to be going up and seem to be going hot to cold and cold to hot. This might be worth grabbing. So I definitely just look in the back at the long boxes for this. The next book we have is Fantastic Four 175, and this is the Battle of Galactus and High Evolutionary. This is probably a near mint copy. I got this on sale. I think I got it for, again, around $4. So this would be another book if you just happen to be in the long boxes. I think this might be the first time they meet, and with all the speculation going on with Galactus and High Evolutionary, this might be a book that definitely, if you got it graded, would be a sound investment. It's a cool cover. It's got some great colors to it. I would definitely pick this up if you happen to come across it. Next, we have G.I. Joe Yearbook #3. This is an interesting book because this is a silent issue. It's not talked about much. It's Scarlet, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow again. But it's that, of course, the G.I. Joe Real American Hero 21 goes for a pretty penny and a good price. I would definitely be on the lookout for this. This is just one of those books, if you're a G.I. Joe fan, it's kind of for the completists out there, but it's one that is not talked about very often and probably did not have a large print run, especially if you can find it in the newsstand. So I would be on the lookout for this one. This is Avengers 131. Again, this is a long box back issue book just to look for, with Marvel Zombies kind of coming back with from the Far From Home speculation and the DC Deceased series. This is the first kind of superhero zombie book I remember, where dead superheroes come back to life. This is the first Legion of the Unliving. Now, granted, none of these guys are going to get your senses tingling. Maybe Wonder Man for the 3 or 4 Wonder Man fans out there. But it's Frankenstein's monsters. It's the original Human Torch. It's Baron Zemo. It's Midnight, who I think appeared in like one issue of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. And then, of course, Wonder Man, who died in his first issue. And this is where he makes a return as a zombie. But it's worth getting. And again, this is one of those books. I got it for $5. It's one of those books that if you're looking for some Bronze Age, older, modern age stuff, definitely worth getting. Um, Dazzler 28, first series. As far as I can tell, and I'm not the archivist on this, this is the first painted cover by Bill Sienkiewicz, who is getting hot now. Now, he had plenty of works before this, cover work, interior work, but the painted covers that we became familiar with Moon Knight and New Mutants, this was his first stab at that. So it's not a big issue. Now, I believe Dazzler was direct only, so I don't think there's a newsstand variant to this. But it's still worth, again, you could probably find this in the dollar box, so worth looking. Doom Patrol #1. This is from the DC Young Animals. I got this a little bit below cover price. This is by Gerard Way, who of course did Umbrella Academy, and they're bringing this series back, written by him. And of course, Doom Patrol is one of the favorite series on the DC Universe streaming service. Series didn't last long. It was a bit of a different take, and I believe this is a variant. So it's worth looking at. Again, a long box, probably even $1 book nowadays. Just something to be aware of. And again, following sequels, kind of like the G.I. Joe book. This is Action Comics 485. Sorry, I need to get a stand for my camera. 485. This is a Neal Adams cover. Again, you may recognize the famous Action Comics cover where Superman is breaking chains, similar to this. This is kind of just a different perspective. But again, I got this, and this is a near mint copy. I got this for like $2. So worth getting, again, for the completist in you. And if you love that cover, I don't think this will ever, that cover goes for $100 raw, I think. $50 to $100 raw, I think, somewhere in there. This will never get that much, but for the completist and for those that like Neal Adams, it's kind of a forgotten cover. Peter Parker Spider-Man #8. This is a comic that is not talked about much, with the Midnight Suns possibly coming to Hulu and different things like that. This is where Blade actually becomes a vampire. He's bitten by Morbius, and with Morbius getting his own movie and everything, this could be a significant book. It's a dollar bin book. Kind of hard to find, just for the simple fact, hard to find the wild, for the simple fact this isn't a series that had a lot of popularity to it. So definitely be on the lookout for it. But it's kind of one of those interesting books we don't think about much. But this is where Blade actually becomes a vampire. Black Canary #10. And years ago I showed off this book, but it's one not talked about very often. Huntress, Nightwing, and Oracle all appear in this book, so you could say it's a very, very early meeting of the Birds of Prey with the movie coming up. You can get this just for a couple dollars. I think I got it for $3 near mint. It's probably a dollar bin book if you can find it in stores. Again, this is probably not a series a lot of stores stock in their back issues, so you might have to go online to like My Comic Shop or Mile High to find it, but definitely worth picking up. It's just a book that's not talked about very often. And the final book I have, and this is Foom 17. I meant to post this when Stan Lee passed away, and just never got around to it. But this is my favorite Stan Lee cover, and it's not talked about very often. Now, it is not a cheap book. As you can see, the price tag, fine VF copy. I would say this is bordering VF, but ran me $25. It's definitely not on the cheap, but considering how much the Marvel Age Stan Lee cover goes for and how sought after that is. This just does not get any mention. It Again, I think collectors and comic book shop owners know what it is, especially this series. And it's hard to find. This was you had to belong to the fans of old Marvel fan club, and so definitely print run is smaller than the Marvel Age, and it's just awesome. It's just got some really cool stuff going on. It's got he's just got a piece of everyone he created, a part of his face. And for those of you who were young in the 90s and bought the Impel first series Marvel cards, this was the Stan Lee card. I think it was the very last card in the set before the checklist. So definitely worth grabbing. And again, I think the price guide value on this from like Gold Collect or even Key Collectors Comics is somewhere for near mint in the range of $50 to $75, somewhere in there. So definitely people know about it, but I'm surprised it's not more than it is given some of the other Stan Lee comics out there. So that's all I got. Glad to be back. We'll check in with you hopefully later. Bye.